Melody Chan was on the news today, and it's absolutely hilarious the way the journalists are interpreting this. Then again, you have to take into account that rarely do journalists actually think for themselves. It is usually what they want you to think. It's called editorializing. It's a very important journalistic activity, almost as important as gatekeeping. In other words, the type of information you shouldn't know and the type of information you don't care about, but you should talk about constantly. So what are they editorializing about? Well, Melody Chan, which we know that the journalists don't like pretty much, was caught in a prank call with the Russians. A Russian comedian, apparently. And they talked about many things, including the refugee crisis and the Ukrainian conflict. And much to the public surprise and the dismay of every journalist that I listen to, she is not a warmonger. Oh my God. Oh, Dios mío. Horrible. I know. Basically, she said the worst thing imaginable. And I'm like, what did she say? Well, she said that Italy is looking for a way out of the conflict. Oh my God. Oh. Do you think the Russians aren't looking for a way out of the conflict? Unironically. Like if we were in Moscow now, and we could listen to the Russian high command, do you think they are also not fatigued about the conflict? I mean, it's a war. It brings human miseries. Last time I checked, mothers don't like to see their sons in caskets. Whether they be Russian or they be Ukrainian, people don't like seeing that. So, yeah, I assume that diplomacy is still on the table. Probably, most likely, both sides, and chances are everyone involved, is looking for a way out of the conflict. The problem is that in the international scale, you need to come out of a conflict looking strong. Because weakness invites aggression. So, I assume that, yes, Italy is trying to find a way out of the conflict while still remaining strong in a position of strength. So how would that look like? Well, it would look like Ukraine managing to retain its territory. And then Italy can get out of the conflict, it looks strong. Russia is doing the opposite. Makes sense, doesn't it? Now imagine for a second how it would have sounded if she was like that guy from BlackRock that was caught with a hidden camera by James O'Keefe. And he was saying that, oh yes, the conflict is very good. I mean, when the Russians destroy a grain silo, oh, the prices go up. And you can make a lot of money if you have access to that knowledge before everyone else. How would that come out if she was to discuss the issue like that? I don't know. I mean, to me, this humanizes Eloni, right? Like, any other type of discussion besides what she said would have concerned me. This is like actually a good thing that she thinks like this. And also take into account when listening to a prank call, you need to consider who she believed that she was talking with. And in this case, she believed that she was talking with the African Union Commission. If you look at Africa, South Africa, very large nation, influential as well, for the African continent, I mean. They have close ties with the Russians, so you need to sound diplomatic when talking to them. You can't, like even if she were enthusiastic about the conflict, even if she wanted the conflict to last longer, when talking with the African Union Commissioner, you gotta at least maintain a level of diplomacy. And I think it is common sense and decency to actually say that, yes, we want the conflict to end, we're looking for a way out. Now, I've been discussing this with some right-wingers, and they were saying that I'm coping. It's like, V, you don't understand, the war is... This is something that I've noticed for a year now. Like for over a year, I have certain right-wingers which aren't ill-meaning or anything like that. But they literally believe it's like, no, the war is lost. It's like, there's no point. And it's like, yeah, but you've been saying this for a year. When are you going to say that maybe you're wrong? Like when are you going to start to listen to someone that wasn't consistently wrong on the issue? Like, from what I am seeing, unless you have public statements issued by countries, and when you have a public statement, you also need to compare it with the opposition. So, like, for instance, if NATO is saying we're running out of munition, you have to also wonder, how are the Russians doing on the munition front? Are they running out as well? And when you go and you look, they're both running out. Okay, so the matter is not as concerning as initially it was being sold to me. Does that make sense? Right. So in this situation, unless you have EU member states saying that they want to pull out of the conflict publicly, they're not going to pull out of the conflict. Is the sunken cost fallacy, is the fact that you're going to look weak. Again, weakness invites aggression. That's what I am basing this on. The only country that actually did say something that is not necessarily like they want to pull out, but they want to offer less support, was Poland. And it was Poland during election season. I believe that they changed their mind since. So yeah, I am not concerned about this at all. Again, I am a person that's pro-Ukraine due to the geography. Right? I do not want to border Russia as much as Russia doesn't want to border NATO. I think I made my position clear on that. So if Ukraine manages to maintain its borders, I am very happy. But I do not believe for a single moment that Italy is going to pull out of the conflict before it manages to see it through. With that out of the way, there was another conversation about migration. And she said exactly what I've been saying on my channel. Like, it's hilarious how, all people disagree with me, and then you see that the politicians agree with me as well. It's just bizarre, isn't it? I said that the problem with the migration is too large. There was that article that claimed Sweden wants to deport tens of thousands of migrants, like some ridiculous notion like that. And I said, you can't do it. Like, it can't be done. Short of sending the military in, and then you get boycotted by every single other international country. The entire international community starts disavowing and condemning Sweden. Kind of like playing a game of Civ, and you get denounced by every other faction. No one is going to do that, okay? Like if you're a right-winger, thinking that is not going to happen. Meloni-chan thinks the same, apparently. She's saying that the problem is too large for Italy to face alone. And she's saying that the European Union should help, or that the United Nations should help. Like, this actually amused me to a great deal. Like, what? Like, the country that are causing the issue, you want them to help? They're not going to help. They are the ones causing the problem. Like, who do you think is financing the NGOs? To move tens of thousands of people across the earth costs money. Where do you think the money is coming from? Follow the paper trail. Like, it's not that difficult. The idea that the European Union or the United Nations is going to help is the most hilarious thing that I have ever heard. But again, you gotta wonder who she is talking with. Like, she thinks that she is talking with the African Union Commission. So maybe she is saying, get off my ass, and get on their ass instead. Trying to shift the blame, which is a diplomatic way of doing it. Again, like, we do not get a peer into the mind of Giorgia Meloni here. We are just listening to what she would say if she was to be talking with the African Union Commission. So, yeah, I don't know, like, why this prank call is relevant. And even if you want to hear what she has to say, that, like what her stance is on immigration and what her stance is on the conflict with Ukraine, I do not think that there was anything earth-shattering. It's definitely like what the journalists are trying to editorialize and spin it. I do not see Giorgia Meloni as an evil person, right? Like, she's not Hitler. She's basically saying that, well, the problem is difficult to deal with and it's too large. She basically wants peace in Ukraine. Is it shocking? Like, huh? Maybe for some people it is. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think, and as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.